gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, let me thank Chairman Camp for bringing this important set of charitable bills, the America Gives More Act, H.R. 4719, to the floor for a vote. H.R. 3134, the Charitable Giving Extension Act, is a bill I introduced that would make a small change in the tax code, but make a huge change in the lives of every American. This legislation would extend the yearly deadline for making giving deductions from December 31st to April 15th of the following year, so that all Americans can have an extra 3.5 months to give to charity and include those donations in next year's tax returns. No longer would Americans be forced to complete their charitable giving by New Year's Eve. But let me tell you, this is something that goes far deeper than that. Mr. Schock references, according to the World Giving Index, America is the most big-hearted nation in the world. In the world. All this is an affirmation of who we are as Americans. Believe me, my friends, this charitable virtue that we have is not a Republican issue or a Democrat issue. This is who we basically are as Americans. And we look at what happens. I want you to think about any time there is any time of a crisis or tragedy in the world. Who is the first responder? America. Always America. It is just who we are. It is the very fabric of this nation and what has been given to us. We have been so blessed by God. And then the question becomes, well, I'd like to give a little bit more. But I didn't know by the end of the year that I was going to have that little bit extra to work with. And I'm talking about guys and gals that get up every morning, the alarm goes off, they throw their feet out over the bed, and they go to work, and they want to do it for one reason: put a roof over their family, put food on the table, clothes on their back, and prepare for their future. And then they say at the end of that day, I have a little bit left over. I want to be able to give that to a charitable organization. Is there any place else in the world that we see that happen, and happen on a regular basis, day in and day out? Now, this is not just thumping, I'm proud of America. This is a humble pride. It says, I thank our Lord and God for putting us in a position that we can actually share that which we have. And too much has been given, much is required. I understand that, but please don't turn this into a political argument when it comes to good policy. You know in the depths of your heart where the American people are. You know what they've done for year after year, in good times and in bad times. And we turn this into political theater? When we talk about policy that's good not just for every single American, but for every person they help. Now please, in a floor that sometimes seems so divided and wants to pick sides on who's doing the best job, I came here for one reason, and that was to serve the people from Pennsylvania's 3rd District that sent me, both Republicans and Democrats, some that vote and some that don't vote, and to serve the needs of the American people. Have we gone so far from those goals that we decide to make everything political? And it's not just enough to agree with every single thing that comes forward, but then we use the hypocrisy. Wait a minute, this is not paid for. And the idea of paying for it is taxing people more. I would hate to be in a position where I tell
an additional 30 seconds.
Where I tell every American
additional 30 seconds.
That, you know what, we know how to spend the money better than you. We'll make the decisions of how it gets doled out. In your heart of hearts, when you want to give to a charitable organization, forget it. We'll make that decision. Send the money to Washington because we've done such a wonderful job with it. No, my friends, that's not America. That's not who we are. That's not who we'll ever be. That's not the fabric of this great nation. So what I ask you to look past your political ambitions and beating each other up and look about what's good policy for every single American. Now, I urge the passage of this bill, and I yield back my time, and I thank the chairman.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Michigan reserves. Gentleman